So somebody had said something on, what's it called? YouTube. How she doesn't have respect for me because I apparently in the 10-minute video, I had said my parents threw money at it. So I'm assuming that is why she assumed that I blame my parents or anything. There is blame in every story, okay? We know better today, so we do better today. The blame for my disease is on me, period on period. I started using to have fun. I was experimenting as a young child, and I got addicted to OxyContin. How do you navigate that as a parent? There's handbooks today, but in the early 2000s, I don't think there were very many, okay? What to do when your child, your teenager, gets hooked on opiates. I don't think there was a lot of literature that my parents would have had to help them navigate that. Putting blame on my parents is absolutely ridiculous. I love my parents. I have an amazing relationship with my parents. I came from an amazing home, okay? This is something that is not usually the norm. Usually, and this is why it was hard for me for a really long time, because I didn't understand why I was the way I was, besides the fact that addiction and mental health are run rampant in my family. I didn't understand, like, my friends who were addicts had trauma. They were abused. They were in the foster care system. They were a vulnerable demographic, and so were their parents. Bitch, that's not me. I grew up in a big house on a nice street in Northern Ontario. I had two parents in the home who both worked full time. Bitch, I went to Disneyland. I had a pool in my backyard. I had one sibling who I was very close to, an amazing family on both sides of my family. I had a grandma who pretty well helped raise me. Okay? The only thing that I think there was fault at is the fact that there was no supervision. But that was the times. That was the times. And when your child looks at you in the face and says, I'm okay, you know, a lot of the time my parents were at camp, okay? They trusted me. You can't always trust your teenager. My parents are parenting for the very first time. My parents are living for the very first time. So to blame them because in 2025 we know better, we do better, would be ridiculous. It would be absolutely ridiculous, and I would never do that. I have talked about the things that I would have done different, but I have not only the experience of 20 years of active addiction to understand what you do and what you don't do when your child is using, but I have educated myself. I have read the hypothesis is of a lot of really amazing leading doctors in addiction. So I know what Gabor Mate thinks addiction comes from. So I have all of this knowledge that I understand will help me when I have a child who is struggling, okay? And I have went through that already. I have an 18-year-old. So the reason I'm able to come on here and make silly, sarcastic comments like, and they just threw money at it, it's because I know better, because I experienced it 18 years out there. So I understand what parents should do and what they shouldn't do. Never once would blame my parents at all whatsoever. They didn't know what they were supposed to do. And when, like I said, when your child is looking you in the face, or even when I came to her at 20 and admitted to her that I was struggling with opiate addiction, I see today what is enabling and what isn't. That's why I'm able to talk about it. That's why I'm able to help loved ones of addicts, parents of addicts, navigate what they're going through. Because I not only have a child who is 18 years old and is going through what she's going through, but I also went through it myself with two parents who were just trying to do their best. So the people who are doing their best don't always do the right thing. But that's not placing blame on anybody. That would be like blaming somebody when someone goes missing. You know, hindsight is always 20/20. I'm able to look at things that happened back when I was a teenager and say, bitch, I would never do that what my mom did. But I'm still allowed to say that because it's my story. So I'm not out here trying to gain the respect of people. I'm just telling you my perspective, how I see it today. And I see it a lot differently than a lot of parents because I went through it. And when, you know, teachers are coming to parents and saying, your child is using drugs and da 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 da, there are things that you should and should not do. And I am allowed to talk about those things with no shade to my mom and dad. My mom and dad know exactly how I feel. Nothing I did was their fault. My parents have debilitating PTSD, especially my mother, because of my addiction. So how can you blame somebody who struggled? She struggled with me. It's a family disease. She didn't know what the fuck to do. Only thing she knew what to do was to make sure that my babies were safe. And that's what she did. Do you think I'll ever be able to repay her for that? Regardless of the relationship we have today, and we have a great relationship. My parents are amazing. I love my parents. I'm very close with them. Very close with all my family. But they know how I feel. They know that there were things that I don't think that they could have done different. Everybody in this world has a story and has these, you know, the list of things that you wish your parents would have done differently. But it's not to blame them. It's to break the cycle with your own people, with your own family that you've created. Like, I have 4 daughters, and there are things that my parents did that I will never do. I will always educate my girls. I will always, when there's an OxyContin epidemic going on in your community, and you know it, but you don't tell the child who is out there experimenting with drugs about it, but we know better, we do better. And you can make all the excuses you want, because what I just said has zero fucking context to it. I just know education is key. And when your child is going out into the world educated about what goes on in the real world, they have armor that other children aren't going to have, because they know what the real world is about. So I will always educate my children. My children know how to use Narcan. They understand the signs of overdose. They know that there are drugs out there that will fucking kill you. Okay? I have a big sticker on my car that says fentanyl will kill you, bruh. We're not out here, sheltering our children from things. You can't. Because every single day I come on the internet and I see 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 5-year-olds that have gotten into fent and fucking died. But if their 10-year-old sister would have understood the signs of overdose and had Narcan in the home, lives would have been saved. So I am allowed to come out here and tell y'all what I think my parents should have done different without placing blame, bro. Bitch, we survived. We survived. We're thriving. We're all doing fucking amazing. Okay? We're all close. So you can disrespect me all you want because I wasn't honest about my addiction, but my honesty is raw, bitch. It's real without pretenses. Okay? When I tell a story, I will tell you what I think could have been done differently, because bitch, that shit saves lives. So when people come on here and watch that are going through the same fucking thing, education is everything. Education is everything. Okay? It's not to place blame whatsoever. But I'm also not going to fucking sugarcoat it for you, because bitch, they enabled. And I'm allowed to say that. Because they didn't know how the fuck to navigate it. I wouldn't have known how to navigate it. I'm alive for the first time too. And the only reason I have the experiences that I do is because I was out there suffering for 20 years. That's the only reason. People that never experience what I experienced will never understand what you do when you're faced with that dilemma. When your kid's teacher's calling you saying, we just got caught your 16-year-old doing lines of ketamine in the bathroom. That's all I'm saying. Miigwech.